Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, moratorium. Here we go. Let's get it. LeBron, obviously not coming to Louisville. None of these top free agents would be coming. Not even close. So let's just take a quick look. I know we've got the money. I know we can afford. Let's see, real quick. I know there's an affordable section, real quick, like all affordable. I guess LeBron's the only one we can't afford. I don't know why we can't afford him though. Like we've got some cap. Well, not as much cap room as I thought, I guess. But let's just take a look at who we may be interested in, and who's going to be an unrestricted free agent. So Nick Claxton. Oof. I'm wondering, do we maybe try to go all in on Nick Claxton here? I really, really am wondering. I mean, he wants a lot of money, but he's worth a lot of money. Markelle Fultz, having Collier and Devontae Graham on the team, I don't want to have a log jam at any certain position. Let's see. Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin is a guy that I could see bringing in, as a small ball four. Let's see what else we got here. He's restricted. Let's see. So maybe what if we try to go with Nick Claxton, and if things fall through, we don't get Nick Claxton, maybe we just bring Duren back. Maybe he was just meant to be in Louisville. You know what? Maybe he was just meant to be here. Because obviously Detroit doesn't want him. Why they don't want him, I don't know. I wish Pat Will was unrestricted, but he's not. Xavier Tillman, okay. Let's see. Lonnie Walker. Okay. Trendon Watford. So obviously he did not stick around wherever he was traded to Brooklyn, I believe, right? Yeah, so he didn't stick around there for one reason or another. I guess they didn't pick up his option because he's still pretty young, right? Yeah, I think years. Yeah, so they would have not picked up his option if I'm not mistaken. So he's a guy that I think should be on the radar. Bol is here. A lot of people have been mentioning the possibility of picking up a guy like Bol. And, I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. Denny Avdia, I would absolutely love to pick up a guy like Denny Avdia on this team. But we're going to have to overpay out the ass for him. Excuse my language, but we would have to pay quite a bit. Let's see. All right, so you know what? I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. And I am going to try to go all in. So I'm going to offer him $29 million per year with a player option. Give him a 3+1. And see, see what he thinks about that. Like I said, OG would be great, but it's just like I don't want to pay that much for him. You know what I mean? I just don't see paying that much for OG Anunoby. Any young guys here? Okay, Jaden McDaniels, but he's restricted. You know what? Give me Caleb Martin. Let me negotiate with him. I do want a team option here. 2+1. I want to see if I can go after him. And it looks like we're his only offer right now, and he's interested. Hey guys, so I am really sorry to interrupt, especially at such an important part of this episode. However, I wanted to jump in real quick in the background here as I'm editing, and I wanted to let you guys know there was a big portion of this episode, not a big portion, but a portion of this episode that for whatever reason, the OBS software that I use, it ended up glitching out a bit, and there was just audio issues. Some of the audio wasn't even there, and then some of the screens just grayed out, and I think it was because of the connection that I had, from the capture card to my computer. Either way, I got it all straightened out now, but like I said, for this particular episode, there were certain things that were not actually part of the episode, and I'm going to address those things when the time comes. And that includes free agency, some of the things that happened in free agency. I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you guys all of the free agents, where they were signed, to which team, at least the ones that did sign to a different team, things like that. And I'm also going to show you guys our entire roster, and I'm going to go play by play, everything that happened, throughout the offseason, the few parts that I did miss. I'm going to let you guys know exactly what happened and how our roster came to be. Aaron Nesmith is prepared to accept an offer from the Sixers. They want to give him 1 year, $5 million. Yeah, absolutely, I'll match that. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah, I'm matching that. So we've got Brandon Boston accepts his. So the All-Star City happens to be Indianapolis, Indiana for 2024. Great job, 2K. I'm kidding. It was me. I changed it, but they wanted to have it in Los Angeles. But no, we're going to have it where it's really going to take place in Indianapolis. So there's probably going to be some pretty cool jerseys for that one. Can't wait to see what they look like. So right here was where I had one of the issues with the OBS, recording software. And so since I had the issue, I'm going to go ahead. This was the player progression portion of the offseason. So I'm going to put that, the images up on the screen for you guys so you guys can see it. And I'm going to go through and, we'll talk about the progression. So as you guys can see here, Nick Claxton, the biggest addition to the team this offseason in free agency, he stays at an 84 overall. Caleb Martin, another addition. He went from an 79 to an 80 overall. Our boy Jaden Hardy, the man himself, Hardy Party. That's our guy right there, man, our franchise guy. Went from a 76 to a 79 overall, going up 3 overall. Just seeing him go from an A- to an A+ in three-pointer, man, I'm so proud of this guy. Just amazing, phenomenal. I can't be more excited, for what's to come in his future and our future. Then, of course, see Ron Holland, one of the rookies we drafted. Josh Christopher, another one of the guys who went up 3 overall. And you guys have been calling for it too, man. I got to give a big shout out to all of you guys. You guys have been telling me, hey, listen, we need to get some more playing time for Josh Christopher. And you know what? He has proven that he deserves it. So, you know what? This upcoming year, he's going to get it. He goes from a 74, I guess, to a 77 overall. Daniel Gafford, I won't talk too much about him, but he goes from a 70, he goes up to a 78 overall. Isaiah Collier, another one of our rookies, as a 77. Of course, no progression yet. Aaron Nesmith goes up 1 overall to a 77. Day'Ron Sharp, another big mover, up 3 overall. He was so impressive during this season at times, whether it be injuries to Daniel Gafford or just him, coming off the bench and really making an impact. He really impressed me a lot. So for him to go up 3 overall, very, very big deal. Jalen Johnson goes up 1 overall. And then, of course, moving on to the next screen here, as you guys can see, the highlight of this one, Grady Dick, our guy, man, out of Kansas, the rookie last year, goes from a 72 to a 75 overall. Cannot wait to see what's to come from him this year and from all of our guys, man. This is just, honestly, just looking up and down this roster, it looks like a very exciting team. I can't wait. So we have now advanced forward to the regular season. But before we end this off-season episode, there are a couple of things that I want to show you guys real fast. Now, first thing I want to tell you guys, the Seattle Supersonics did end up drafting their team. I guess I had to be in control of them, to be able to control their draft and all that, but they were able to do their draft, the actual rookie draft. They were able to do the actual free agency, and then they were also able to pick up players, through an expansion draft. So, as you can see right here, they ended up not picking up anyone that we didn't have protected, and I only made it 8 guys, which is the norm. So that's how it's supposed to be anyway. But as you guys already know, they picked up Stephon Castle in the rookie draft. In free agency, they ended up picking up Sadiq Bey. But a few of the guys that they picked up just through the expansion draft, Ochai Agbaji, Herbert Jones, Josh Hart, we traded them Daniel Gafford, as you know. They picked up Harrison Barnes. Castle was the rookie. Dorian Finney-Smith they picked up. Ben Simmons. Vasily Micic. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Jose Alvarado. Keita Bates-Diop. Jalen Hood-Schifino. Donovan Williams they have on a two-way contract. Trace Jackson-Davis is there. Armando Nunnally is on a two-way contract as well. So that is their team. So nothing really out of the ordinary here. Like I said, they were able to sign Sadiq Bey in free agency. I did see that, and I am going to go through and show you guys all of the free agent signings and all that. But before I do that, I want to show you real fast who actually ended up where as far as hashtag ad player is concerned. So let's do that real quick. So what's funny is that not everyone ended up where they were drafted. Those of you that were drafted in the second round, some of you were signed by your team, and then the others were actually picked up in free agency by other teams. So let's take a look real quick through this. First, of course, you know Zay Carter was drafted by the Knicks. He was signed by them. AJ McNeil, he was actually put in the free agent pool, and the Clippers ended up picking him up, so that was awesome. Kyle Chuha ended up, I forget who drafted him, but the Wizards, you're on the Wizards now. Tristan DeRoca ended up with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Corey Haggerty was drafted by the Thunder and stayed there. Nick Baker, drafted by the Pelicans, ended up staying there. Draco Thompson, who was drafted by the Suns, ended up staying, but apparently broke his left kneecap in preseason. So, but anyway, Draco, you are on the Suns for when you come back. Ming O'Neal ended up being picked up by the Lakers, who I don't think actually drafted him. Benny Blaze ended up being picked up by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Again, not sure if they even drafted him. Will Gray ended up being picked up by the Grizzlies. So he is on the Grizzlies. Vinicius Cruz ended up being picked up through free agency, specifically by the Boston Celtics. Dean Bean was drafted by the 76ers. They ended up signing him to his rookie contract. And I do believe that that was it for our hashtag ad players. So if you saw your player drafted, but I did not, show you here, that does not necessarily mean that you're not on your team. I may have missed it, but I hope I didn't. Either way, I just wanted to show you guys, if there was somebody that was drafted and not signed by the team that drafted him, you guys are all on teams. If you did not see your name here, that means that either A, you decided to be in the 2025 draft class, or B, you did not tell me, and I decided to put you in the 2025 draft class just so that you have a much better chance of being drafted high, because like I've said many times, that whole class is going to consist of hashtag ad players for the most part. And also, since I wasn't able to show you guys, before the season ended, I wanted to show you guys now, before we advance into the next season. We're still in the off season here. I wanted to show you, the league leaders for last season. And as you can see, Doncic, man, with an amazing season, almost averaging a triple-double, 35 points a game. See Dame Lillard with 31 points. Look, almost 7 assists per game. Just a fantastic year for him as well. You got Ja Morant, SGA, all four of those guys, 30-plus points per game. Then you got Steph Curry, who missed a little bit of time, but still had a fantastic season. 28.5 points per game, over 5 rebounds, 5 assists per. Joel Embiid, the reigning MVP, having another great year, 28.5, 11.5 rebounds. And then you see Devin Booker, 28, Trae Young, 28. He almost had 10 assists per game, which is phenomenal. That's outstanding. Ant-Man, our boy Anthony Edwards, 27 points per game, just continues to impress. Zach LaVine, played all 82 games, almost 27 points per game. He's kind of Mr. Consistency. Then you got Donovan Mitchell at just over 26.5 per game. Kyrie, they went to the finals. Great year for him. De'Aaron Fox, 25.5. Giannis, another fantastic season. You guys saw his numbers earlier. Then you got Julius Randle, 25 points per game. Jokic. We'll just keep going down the list here and see what. We'll go all the way until we get to our boy Jaden Hardy, see what spot he's in. See Desmond Bane there, another great young player. He was on I think he was part of our Wildcats franchise, if I'm not mistaken. LeBron, 23.2 points per game, 7 and 7.5. So he's still, he's still putting up numbers, just like he said at the ESPYs. He still has it in him to put up, to give everything he has and not cheat the game. Then you see LaMelo, 23 points, almost 6 rebounds, over 8 assists per game. Fantastic year for him. Harden, Mikal Bridges, Tyler Hero, Jamal Murray, Zion, Jordan Poole, Brandon Ingram, Klay Thompson, Markkanen, RJ Barrett. And then there we go. There's our boy, Hardy Party, the Hardy Party himself. You already seen his numbers, 20.5 points per game. And, this is a guy in his second season. He played 74 games this year. He had a little bit of, slight injuries. Nothing too serious. The most improved player of 2023. I'm so proud of this guy, man. I'm so proud of this whole team. And so now that we are nearing the end of part 3 of the off season, I just wanted to show you guys the roster real quick, highlight some of the changes that happened. Obviously, as you guys know, we picked up Nick Claxton in free agency, and you guys can see his contract right up there. Amazing pickup, man. I'm so happy to have this guy on the squad. Cannot wait to see what he does with some of these other guys out there on the floor. Going to be very exciting. Caleb Martin, a guy who is now kind of getting into that role of possibly even like a veteran type player. Jaden Hardy, of course, Ron Holland, the guy that we drafted. You got Josh Christopher, Grady Dick, Isaiah Collier, who we also drafted. Neesmith is back. Gary Payton accepted his option. Day'Ron Sharp is back. Devontae Graham, who we traded for just before the draft happened. Santi Aldama. So here's what we ended up doing. I traded Daniel Gafford and Jalen Johnson over to the Seattle Supersonics for Santi Aldama and a 2028 first-round pick. Now, I know that pick is a bit far out. However, it's the Supersonics, so it could be valuable by the time we get there. And, draft capital is always valuable anyway. And Aldama is a guy that I like, so they get two they get 2 decent players, in exchange for Aldama and that pick. And, I think it worked out well for both sides, to be honest. Then, of course, you got Brandon Boston, who came back on the qualifying offer. Kyle Filipowski, who we ended up drafting with the very first pick in the second round. And then Judah Mintz. So Judah Mintz is the point guard out of Syracuse. He is a rookie, and he ended up getting drafted. However, he was not signed to a rookie contract. So I ended up picking him up in free agency, as an undrafted rookie. And I think that, having him as a backup point guard or possibly putting him in the G League and letting him develop some more, I think was a very good idea. So the last thing, but certainly not least, I wanted to go through and let you guys see, where all the free agents went, where they signed, the guys that were, at least unrestricted, or even if they were restricted. We'll go through the list here of all the players, and I will show you guys any changes that have been made, all the way down the list here. So let's go ahead and let's see. I know the first one here is LeBron, and as you guys can see, LeBron ended up signing, it actually was 2 years because he has a player option, just under $50 million a year for LeBron with the Lakers. And like I said, in the next episode, in episode 7, I'm going to show you guys something really cool that ended up happening, which I think you guys are going to like, and it happened all on its own. So going down the list here, taking a look, Kawhi Leonard ended up staying with the Clippers. So, he was a free agent, but they got him on a Supermax deal, as you can see. So he's going to be sticking around. That deal might end up, working out better for him than it does for them, depending on how he performs, in his later years. But continuing on here, let's just see. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that moved around, because I know there's quite a few. Pascal Siakam ended up going to the Brooklyn Nets, so that was definitely a big move. You have to think that the Raptors are possibly in maybe a little bit of a rebuild mode. But once you see one of the pickups that one of the free agents they picked up later on, you'll see that it's a little curious to me, I'll be honest. But keeping it going here, as you can see, let's see. Zach LaVine ended up staying with the Bulls. So here was a big one. James Harden ended up signing with the Orlando Magic. And I will show you guys their roster. You guys will see that despite the fact that you guys think that they may be extremely guard heavy right now, you'll see that, it's not what it seems at the moment. The roster that they put together, actually, it looks pretty damn good, I'm not going to lie. But keeping it going here, let's see who else may have been on the move. Here's another big one. Paul George going to the Spurs. All I can really think is that, with Victor Wembanyama, he's developed. He's an 88 overall at this point, Victor is. And, he's developing so fast that, this 3-year deal in the latter part of his career for Paul George, maybe Pop thinks that he can, put something special together and maybe make a run at this thing. So, yeah, the Spurs pick up Paul George. Ayton stays with the Trailblazers. Drew Holiday ended up staying with the Celtics, even though he was a free agent. As you can see, Malik Monk ends up with the Wizards. I know he was on the Kings last season because we just played them in the last episode, at the end of the year. And as you can see here, here's one of the big changes for the Magic. Markelle Fultz ends up signing with the LA Clippers. This guy, amazing. I watched his career coming out of Washington, and he was fantastic. And, he may just be getting started. Maybe he's just hitting his stride right now. Hopefully, I really am a fan of his, and I want to see him do well. I am rooting for him for sure. D'Lo ends up going to the Utah Jazz. A couple big men on the move. Jonas Valanciunas going to the Brooklyn Nets, and Onyeka Okongwu going to the Detroit Pistons. But as you'll see in a second here, there's a reason why the Pistons kind of need him. And then here was another big one for the Orlando Magic. They ended up signing Jalen Duren, who we had our eye on him. If the Nick Claxton thing didn't work out, which it ended up working out. So he goes to Orlando. So that team, they've got a team going over there. Sadiq Bey gets picked up by the Supersonics. Here it is. Here was the one I was talking about for the Pistons earlier. James Wiseman going to the Utah Jazz. So the Utah Jazz making some moves out here. They got D'Lo, they got James Wiseman. They might look to put something together here. They got one guy's a veteran, one guy's very young. That could be maybe a little bit of a sleeper team. We'll see. Gary Trent Jr. signing with the LA Lakers. I didn't even notice that before, but he is going to be with the Lakers and LeBron, so that's actually kind of cool. It's be interesting to see how he does over there, especially with LeBron, man. That could end up being something special there. Cole Anthony, this was another one. So Cole Anthony ends up going to the Detroit Pistons. So like I said, you don't have the same dynamic there in Orlando where there's like a big traffic jam with guards, but you picked up James Harden. So that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. As I was saying before, Russell Westbrook, like I said, why Toronto would pick him up is a little bit weird to me. With him getting up there in age, but especially with the contract. I mean, it's not a crazy huge contract, but it's too much for him, I think. Let's see how that works out for them. Kmart Jr. ended up with the Portland Trail Blazers. Christian Wood ended up with the Atlanta Hawks. And now that we're getting down here, let's see, Dylan Brooks with the Rockets. We're getting down here into this area now, where throughout the season we'll see more of these guys. We'll start to see like who ended up where, and if there's any moves to be made during the season itself before the trade deadline. We'll see all of that stuff. Talen Horton-Tucker with the Hornets, definitely something new there. But yeah, so going down the list here, we see some of the rookies. Mike Conley with the Pistons, okay. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, those are the most interesting moves that have happened in the offseason here during the free agency period. But like I said, there will be a lot more that we will go through. We will get an in-depth look at some of these teams, moving forward in the next episode and in episodes to come. But yeah, so that we have finally made it to the end of the off-season episode, my guys. And I hope that you guys liked it. I think that everything worked out very well, but here's what I want you guys to do. Give me a grade down in the comments, and I want you guys to be honest. I know you guys are always honest. However, even if it's harsh, even if it's, something that is not a great grade for us, I will not take it as negative. I always take it as constructive feedback, constructive criticism. But yes, we have advanced into the next season, and in the next episode, we will be playing the game against the LA Clippers to open up the year, and I definitely want to play a game against the Supersonics. Not that home game there on December 18th, but there should be another one. Yeah, here we go. Just after the All-Star break, we will play them in Seattle. you know, just to get a feel for, you know, how the Sonics are doing. We'll have a lot more information then, and I'm sure a lot of things will have changed by that point. But cannot wait for this upcoming season, man. I hope you guys are excited for it. If you're not subscribed yet, you know, please do so, because there is plenty more to come. And if you liked the video, be sure to like the video. So much love to all of you guys that have shown up for every episode, and you know, shout out to the family, man. Love all of you guys so much. Can't even express how much. And we will be back in the next one, and I will see you guys then.
It's down white.